Today on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, Week 6 preview. It's time for Garbage Time. Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Ron Seymour, joined today by Joseph McCann. How you doing today?
Ron, I'm doing great. It's a week before bye week, Armageddon. So we're going to get through this week, and we're all going to stress out next week. So let's get through this.
What you talking about? I'm already stressing out.
You're stressing out because you're playing me this week, and two of your running backs are hurt, and you're just hoping to God you get Christian McCaffrey
Two
back.
of my running backs are hurt. Debo Samuel's out. Calvin Ridley's out for bye weeks. I am not doing well in there.
You are fucked, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's okay. You come out right and say it. I'm probably going to whoop your ass this weekend.
I am fucked way hard.
Yeah, but that's why we play fantasy football, because I've said that to people before, and then I am eating crow come Monday. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
On today's show, we've got the Week 6 review. We got some lightning round DFS, and we have the defensive Dominator.
And then we'll also answer any of your questions live if anybody pops in to ask us anything, which they have been the last 2 episodes. So thank you guys. Ron, where can you find our show too?
Go to www.garbagetimeff.com. Go to youtube.com at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Oh, look, here you are. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Simplecast, iHeartRadio. There's the other one, TuneIn Radio.
Holy crap, you actually thought of this.
That's what I normally forget. I did it.
We're also on Amazon. Bet you didn't know that.
I probably did at one point.
All right. You didn't that time.
Let's get into the news.
News updates.
All right, with our first little biggest part of the news, which started breaking a few hours ago and actually ended up affecting our league in a very funny way. Damian Williams is going to be out this weekend with COVID. So he was diagnosed, and that is going to be an absolute killer for the Bears offense, but it may be big for Khalil Herbert, who's going to be the bell cow for that backfield, which is kind of funny because I dropped him at the beginning of the week. Nobody seemed to notice it because I needed a wide receiver, and Ryan was able to pick him up this afternoon without having to go through the waiver process, which pissed off our resident Bears fan, JJ, a lot. So what are your thoughts on JJ being pissed off and what Khalil Herbert could actually do this week now that Damian Williams is out?
JJ's just pissed off because he's 0-5 and he doesn't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not used to it, which, I feel for him.
Are you hot or cold on the fact that JJ's definitely going to trade for Khalil Herbert by the end of the night?
Depends on what the trade is,
All right. What do you think his prospects are for this weekend?
I think he's going to be the main person in a run-heavy team, so he should be all right. I just wouldn't expect him to be, crazy good. I wouldn't expect, monster numbers from him. Just make sure your expectations are where they should be.
Oh, I can tell you where my expectations are, and they're actually high because I believe he's going to get the running work. He's definitely getting the passing work, and they're going to look to control the ball and keep Aaron Rodgers out the field. So I actually believe he's in for a very big week this week. You said temper your expectations. I think you need to shoot that shit up. It needs to go up, Ron. You're too low on this.
Maybe, but I doubt it.
All right, so on to our next little bit. Also a little bit of Bears news too. Mooney was limited with a groin injury on Wednesday, and Robinson was also limited with an ankle injury. Are you expecting both these guys to play this weekend?
Probably they were limited. It's not like they didn't practice, so they'll probably both play.
Yep. In other news, Damien Harris was limited with a foot injury, which is kind of interesting because people are really big on Ramondre Stevenson this morning. I've been seeing him actually go a lot in auction leagues a little bit higher because they think he's going to play this week. What are your thoughts on this New England backfield currently?
I don't know. It's hard.
Jeez, so insightful tonight.
I want to say Ramondre Stevenson, but I don't know if it'll be him. This offense doesn't look great anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm kind of I would like to stay
away from this backfield.
I would like to stay away from the backfield if I possibly could. Yeah.
All right. Also, the resident old man with the Vikings, Adam Thielen, was also held out of practice Thursday with a foot injury. I don't know if they're looking to not play him this weekend. If they don't, though, the Vikings are on bye-mageddon next week. So that could rest him for 2 weeks. So they may be looking to do that. It's just something to monitor if you're an Adam Thielen owner this week. I don't think that's really anything too horrible to monitor, though. I still believe he's going to play.
Yeah.
Also, Nick Chubb was not practicing Wednesday, wrist and knee. I think he's still going to be a full go. Joe Mixon was practicing Wednesday, and Samaje Perine is also out with COVID. So regardless of injury or not, Joe Mixon is going to be getting a ton of work, and he's got a good matchup against the Lions this week.
Indeed. So I'm happy to hear that because I got Joe Mixon on quite a few teams.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing, speaking of another running back and one you're very interested in, Christian McCaffrey, I believe, is designated 50-50 to play this weekend. So what's going to happen? Is he going to play?
He had a setback, and I don't think he's going to play.
So you think you could throw that shit right out the window and you're going to lose bad, huh?
Yeah, it's not going to be a great time for me.
Also, De'Ami Brown returned to practice Wednesday, so he may actually get some work for the Washington football team this week in a matchup in which might have a lot of scoring opportunities considering they're playing the Chiefs. They may hit the ground running against that defense really quick, and it might be important for Washington to try to keep pace. So, very, very deep sleeper, but consider it. Also, Tyreek Hill missed practice Wednesday. He's not guaranteed to play, but I think he's trending towards playing. Have you heard anything on this?
I heard a little bit on it, but like you said, I'm pretty sure he's going to play. He's probably just resting, probably only doing a little bit here and there. He doesn't need to do full practices.
All right, Ron, first question of the night we have from Daniel Pierce, first member of the Heckling fandom. Hey, guys, Gainwell or Rondell Moore this week? Half PPR. All right, this is an interesting concept, too, because you're going to have to pick this very quickly considering the Eagles and Buccaneers are going to be playing very shortly here.
In a few hours.
Yes. If you think the game concept is going to be that the Eagles fall behind very early, there's a good chance Gainwell has a decent game because they need the passing work, and he's the passing down back in that field. He hasn't performed very well over the last 3 out of 4 weeks. He had a decent game 2 weeks ago, 20 points in most formats. Before that, not much. As for Rondell Moore, he's got boom-bust potential, but there's a lot of weapons there. You're talking A.J. Green, Christian Kirk. I just don't feel very good about that option either, but Gainwell's also playing a tough defense against the running back. I think if you're feeling the pressure of this, I would throw Gainwell in your running back spot, keep the flex open, and go with him as opposed to Rondell Moore, who is a crapshoot also. I'm honestly not too high on either one of these options, but if you're feeling a little frisky, I guess go with Gainwell because he's got the upside.
Yeah, I was going to say Gainwell. The Dolphins running back there, Myles Gaskin, had like 10 targets, 10 receptions last week. Do I expect someone else to get 10 receptions? No, but the Eagles don't have a lot of choice to pass to. They've already lost Goddard for the night.
And yes, that's Alex Goddard, but on this show he's called Goddard because we can't pronounce anything.
Yeah, so Zach Ertz is the only tight end there. Devonta Smith is pretty much the only wide receiver. Kenneth Gainwell is the passing down back, and you can't run against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like Kenneth Gainwell tonight over Rondell Moore. Too many mouths to feed. You never know if it's going to be him or not.
Also a cheap option in DFS if you're playing captain mode tonight.
Yes.
So consider that. All right, on to a next little bit of news. You have something else to think about that?
I just want to remind Daniel Pierce here to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you know when we go live.
Oh, so did you just forget the big word there for a second? That's why you were pausing?
I did.
So like it, subscribe it, leave voicemails, www.garbagetimeff.com. Join the Heckling fandom.
I forgot the word subscribe. So bad.
Yeah. Horrible. Anyway, on our nice little bit of news, too. Something you're going to be very happy about. Kadarius Toney practiced Wednesday and is expected to be a big part of that offense because if you have any hope of beating the Rams this weekend, which you do not, you're going to need him to have a monster game. So Kadarius Toney should be playing this weekend, and Daniel Jones is trending towards playing.
And Sterling Shepard also is trending towards playing. So
you still have no shot, though.
You know what?
You know that.
It's better than not having those guys. So, I mean, we go from like a 10% chance to an 11% chance at that point.
You go from a severe asking to just mostly an ass kicking.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so not too much to worry about on that front then. Also, Devontae Parker and Tua also have a chance to play this weekend. So, that's something else to consider going up against a shoddy Jaguars defense. Also, deeper options in DFS. I'm not big on Tua, but Devontae might be a decent option for DFS.
Well, they play the really early game too, so.
That's right, the 9 a.m. London game.
9:30.
Oh, sorry. Wasn't on top of that. And then in our last little bit of news, Gronk's out again, so you're not playing Gronk. All right, I think with that we can get into our game matchups for the week, right?
Week 6 matchups.
Let's do it.
Oh, I gotta find that.
All right, so first game we are talking about tonight is the one that is in the title. Baltimore versus Chargers. This one really excites me because both these offenses performed admirably well last week. You're talking weapons absolutely all over the board. We have Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Mike Williams, Hollywood Brown, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews. We also have Murray, who I think could be a decent option. I don't believe he's the best one, but he's still playable. And we also have Jared Cook. All of these guys are startable. It is an absolutely huge game where you want pieces of this game, especially in DFS this week too. I think it's going to play very much like how Cleveland and Chargers played last week. Shoddy defenses slightly. They're all right, but high-powered offenses that I think are going to perform very well. May not be as high scoring, but you're going to get the same narrative, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, the Ravens looked really bad through a quarter and a half on Monday night, and then looked unstoppable for the rest of the game.
Sure as shit they did.
Marquise Hollywood Brown is a good play. He's been super consistent since the end of last year. Probably is one of the biggest draft steals of the year. Everybody. Oh, Mike Williams did pop up on the injury report, though.
Drop your knowledge. What you got for us?
I don't remember offhand. I don't remember it being anything super serious, but it did pop up. So just check.
Must be not that serious if you can't find it. If it just popped up now, I'm not too concerned considering I believe he still practiced, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think it was in like a limited capacity.
I'm not too concerned yet.
Mike Williams. Oh, he did not participate in practice.
Oh, so that's something to also monitor going forward?
That was today.
Yeah, something definitely to still monitor going forward then too, because I believe he is a very, very good option. Still a top 5 option, but if he doesn't go, that's a good outlook for Keenan Allen.
Oh, finally. That's what my dynasty team needs.
What other thoughts you have about this game?
Just start everybody.
Do you think Mark Andrews continues having a big week like he did last week?
I don't think it'll be like he did last week, but I'm hoping that him and Lamar Jackson finally got their groove back because Lamar Jackson just plays better when he's working Mark Andrews into the offense.
All right. So I've got another scenario question for you for this game. Who's going to have the larger week? Is it going to be Keenan Allen or Mark Andrews?
Probably Mark Andrews.
For the simple reason that the Chargers are going to score a lot and they're also going to have to throw the ball?
Yeah.
All right. And who's the MVP quarterback of this game?
Lamar Jackson.
You think he's going to score higher than Justin Herbert?
I think he just wins this game.
I don't. I think the Chargers are going to win this game, and I believe Justin Herbert is going to continue his MVP year that I said he's going to have. So I've been chalking that up. I still think he's going to have it. So
Lamar
we'll
Jackson
just
is
leave it at
also
that.
having an MVP year, though.
Yeah, well, one of them's going to separate themselves, and it's going to be Justin Herbert here. So consider that.
Okay.
All right, so are we done with this game?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next one, too. So this next one is an interesting thought, too, because I've got the Cowboys and Patriots. And I want to mention Mac Jones here because I think he's a sneaky good DFS play for this week, too. The Cowboys have a much better defense this year, but they have been giving up a lot of points in DFS to any quarterback that's played them. And Mac Jones is a decently cheap option this week. So let's talk about this game a little bit. I believe Dalton Schultz is actually a bad start against the Pats this week because the Pats are the number one defense against tight ends. So I would try to look elsewhere. Like I said, Mac Jones is a sneaky good start. Hunter Henry, though, I believe is actually a very good start against Dallas. He's been hot the last 2 weeks. Dallas has been giving up a lot of points to tight ends. And I also believe that Cooper and both Zeke are going to have decent games this week. CD's also a decent starter. So I think start your Cowboys players minus Dalton Schultz. And I think Hunter Henry is a decent start.
I want to see something about your claim about Dalton Schultz here. I want to see who the Patriots have played this year already.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, they may be number one, but, like, who was that against?
Statistically speaking. Well, one
so
was the Jets who have no tight end.
Yeah, another one was the Texans who have no tight end.
Yep.
New Orleans Saints who don't really have a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
The only two that actually kind of have well, Tampa Bay, but it was week 4 and Gronk didn't play, so no tight end. And then week 1 was against Miami Dolphins, so they may be number 1 against tight end, but they haven't played any tight ends yet.
So you're really feeling Dalton Schultz is going to be fine this week then?
I really feel like Dalton Schultz could be fine. Like, I'm not saying that he might not throw up a dud or a stinking game, but he could also do that just because Blake Jarwin is the one that gets the touchdown. You know what I mean?
I think both these tight ends are going to throw up a dud. And yes, I understand that they haven't been playing phenomenal tight ends, but they're very strong in the middle of that defense. And that's where the tight ends are going to be playing for these teams. So I would look elsewhere if you could, because there's a lot of decent options at tight end, as we talked about on the waiver show this week. There's plenty of options there. And statistically speaking, yes, they're best against tight ends right now. Will that continue? Might it be a pattern of them not playing any? It could be, but I think there's mathematically go with the chances because there's better lineups. Maybe someone that's playing against the Chiefs, Seals Jones, or Ricky Seals. I always forget the name. Jones. No, so I was right. Ricky Seal Jones is a decent option this week.
You're just so used to being wrong that you
yeah, right.
You got confused.
So that's why you have 1 win so far in our league.
Oh my goodness. I have 2, by the way. I'm 2-3 and you're 3-2. So when I beat you this week and we're both 3-3.
Hey Ron, how many points did you score last week?
Not a lot. 63 from Lamar Jackson.
Oh, that's adorable because I still scored 278 and you're playing most of that team this week. So good luck.
Just 1 week does not do another weekend.
No, but my team changed significantly over that week through a variety of trades, and it seemed to have gone the right way. So just be ready for it.
Whatever Mark Andrews does, it's because of Lamar Jackson.
Good thing I have him.
Andrew and Marquise Hollywood Brown too, right?
I do.
So anything those two do, it's because of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and anything he does, I'm getting points for it too.
That's not true because he could go 100 on the ground.
He's going to have to throw in this game, dude, because it's going to be a high-scoring game. He's using that arm this game. So get ready for that narrative. Anyway, speaking of narratives, what is this Cowboys-Patriots narrative going to be?
The Cowboys are going to make the Patriots look like idiots.
Explain further in fantasy aspects.
The Cowboys' offense is not going to be stopped by this defense. Bill Belichick's thing is take away your main weapon. The Cowboys have 37 main weapons.
So do you feel the main weapon being removed would be Zeke or CD Lamb probably?
Maybe. It could be Amari Cooper. It could be Dalton Schultz. Who knows?
It's not a Dalton Schultz, but they'll just do what they've done against tight ends.
Not play any?
What? What are you talking about not play any?
They haven't played any tight ends worth notes, so that's a horrible narrative.
Yeah, we'll see if it continues this week. I'm just reading the stats, man. I'm going analytical with this one, okay?
Anyway,
running game of the Patriots. How do you feel about it? Is it going to just get stuffed?
Like I said earlier, I want to stay away from all of it because I don't know who it's going to be.
You feel decent about Hunter Henry?
I don't hate the play, but I don't know. They paid so much money to these two tight ends, and neither one of them have really been worth anything. It's just hard.
All right, so the last part of the Patriots offense. Do you feel good about any connections from Mac Jones to any wide receivers this week?
I think Jacoby Myers is the only one you could start, especially in PPR formats.
So you sound like you're really on the fence about starting Mac Jones even this week then. You don't think he's going to have a very good game, do you?
I don't think he's going to have a good game. He hasn't done anything to prove to me that he can have a good game. It's not like he's played only tough defenses this whole time. The Dolphins' defenses look kind of shitty all year.
Decent secondary, though, and he's a short passing quarterback.
I mean, yeah.
The Jets' defense, average to bad.
Yeah, and he didn't look very good against the Jets' defense.
Correct.
Like, I don't think he looks good. So, no, I don't think he's really worth a start in fantasy.
You're breaking Orion's heart right now.
That's fine. I'm a Giants fan. My heart's already broken.
And I feel bad for Christian because he was talking about trading for Mac Jones today. And he was like, I've got to get him at any cost. So I think you're wrong on this narrative. I believe he's going to have a good game because, I mean, if Daniel Jones can have a good game against him, I believe Mac Jones can have a good game against him. Yes. I understand. Daniel Jones is playing much better this year. But my point is any quarterback seems to play well against them. So why can't Mac Jones do it?
Daniel Jones didn't have a good game. Daniel Jones got concussed and didn't even finish
For fantasy football, he was pacing very well.
Maybe he was.
Yes, he got hurt. He was pacing very well, and every quarterback before him played well. So yes, he did. He didn't finish well because he got hurt, but he was pacing well. So different narrative. He didn't do well because he wasn't in the game.
I think the Patriots score maybe 10 points this game.
No, that's way too low. No. I think we heavily disagree on this game. That's all right, though. You know, we'll see how it ends up turning out. All right, so on to our next game then, all right? This one might excite you a little bit more because you're not very fucking high on the Patriots this week. We are on to the Cardinals and Browns. What is going to happen in this game?
This one could be a shootout. Well, not so much a shootout, but it could be high scoring because I think the Cardinals will air it out, but the Browns are just going to keep doing what they always do, which is run the ball 37 times between Chubb and Hunt. So that'll be fun.
Also something to consider, too, Chandler Jones is going to be out in this game, too, for the Cardinals defense. So it's another opportunity for those running backs for the Browns. So, you know, could be even better than, may I say, last week.
It could be a really high-scoring game, but it also feels like it might be one of those games that everyone thinks is going to be high-scoring and then just isn't.
Okay. Out of the committee of wide receivers here, which ones get into the end zone for the Cardinals this week? Rondale Moore, A.J. Green, or Christian Kirk?
That is the worst possible question ever because it's so hard to answer that question.
Well, answer it, damn it.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I'll throw my dart. Christian Kirk. It's going to be Christian Kirk. Dartboard said so.
I actually think you're right with this one. I think it'll be a big week actually for, may I say, Kirk and AJ Green. I think they're both going to have pretty decent weeks here. I think they're built for wide receivers, fit a good narrative for this. I don't know how I feel about the Cardinals running game in this either. The Browns have a very good defense. I think they may end up getting stuffed. So it's not something I really want to consider. I think the Cardinals are going to be throwing the ball around the field, and Kyler Murray is going to be getting it done with his feet. So we have another question here. I have AB, Keenan Allen, DK, Scary Terry, CMC, Cook, and Henderson. Damn, who are you drafting with? Because that's phenomenal. 10-man pin PBR. Who should I start?
I'm guessing
all of them.
I take all. Well, I'm going to assume it's probably a 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, and a flex maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So not a very big roster. So he obviously can't start all of them.
Well,
DK
CMC might not.
Yeah, CMC's probably out. So Cook and Henderson, obviously.
Henderson could have a monstrous week this week. So just be ready for that.
So it's pretty much pick 3 of these wide receivers, I guess.
AB, Keenan, DK, Scary Terry. Scary Terry could have a big week. They're going up against the Chiefs. They're going to need to score a lot. Keenan Allen, consistent all year. AB had a big week. I think he's going to continue that this week. And DK, unfortunately, is getting passes thrown to him by Geno Smith, which is a downgrade. I think that puts him to a wide receiver 2. Will he still be good this year? Yes. But in the immediate future, without Russell Wilson, that is definitely going to downgrade him. He is going to have to be an absolute monster to overcome that.
So which 3 are you picking?
AB, Keenan, and Terry. I'm leaving DK out. And then Cook and Anderson, obviously.
It's hard. That's a hard one.
Well, you got to give him a damn answer. He asked you.
Definitely AB. And make sure he's in your wide receiver spot, not your flex. Yeah, I'll go with you. AB, Keenan, and Scary Terry. Yeah.
You're just looking for any point to fucking disagree with me tonight. You're
just
like, how can I try to shove this back in his face in case he's wrong next week?
I'm just thinking
I'm going to lose to him, so I need something to talk crap about next week.
DK Metcalf. So I'm thinking about the wide receivers with the Seahawks, right?
Mm-hmm.
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's the one that takes the long bombs, who just is always there where Russell Wilson needs him. They have that mind meld together. That's why he's a really good wide receiver in this offense. Mm-hmm. Whereas DK Metcalf is just big and fast.
Yeah, Kurt's after the catch.
It doesn't matter if he's open. It doesn't matter if anything. It's just get the ball near him, and he's going to make plays. That's why I was back and forth, because
he may be blocking for Geno and Carson this week if Carson ends up coming back.
It's possible. I don't know. I will go AB, Keenan, and Terry, though.
Yeah, all right. So back to the narrative of that Cardinals-Browns game, too. How do you feel about David Njoku? Could he potentially have another big week?
I don't trust it, because there's also Austin Hooper there. Mm-hmm. And I want to say they even have a 3rd tight end that's on the roster that has done stuff. But I don't remember offhand.
You can't put your finger on it, huh?
No, I can't.
I honestly believe that he's not going to be the one to have the big game. If a tight end does, I think it actually might be Hooper. I think he fits very well to the narrative of this game. The Browns are going to run the ball because that's what the Browns have been doing. Baker's been an average quarterback. Seems like he's banged up a bit. And he's going to be looking for security blankets. And I believe that week it'll be Austin Hooper. Avoid their wide receivers. I do not like them in this game. I am a week or 2 away from saying Odell is a cut candidate again. I just don't believe in him this year.
Yeah, he hasn't really been playing that well. That's for sure.
Brutal. And as for the Cardinals, I think Kyler Murray will bounce back even against a hard defense. They're going to need him to, because the Browns are going to score a lot. I believe the Cardinals will score a lot. This is an outlook of being, as Ron said, a very high-scoring game. So here's another narrative between the 2 out of the 3 games we've already discussed, Ron. Which one's going to be a higher-scoring game? The Cardinals and Browns, or the Baltimore Ravens and the Chargers?
I would say Chargers and Ravens.
So is that the game you would be looking to target players off of for DFS?
I mean, it all depends on price and everything, but I
promise you the Chargers players are more expensive.
I definitely want players off of both of these teams if I can get them, or like all 4 of those teams.
And how do you feel about the Cardinals running game? Is there any work that can get done in this backfield?
Chase Edmonds in PPR. He's their pass catcher, so that's the one I would roll with.
That's the direction you're wanting to go?
Yeah. James Conner's touchdown dependent. So
yeah, he's a touchdown stealing cancer is what he is.
Yeah.
Just something I completely want to stay away from. Seems like someone Adam Gase would like if he was a head coach again.
Oh, jeez. Stop it.
All right, so now we're going to move on to another game that I don't believe is being covered by the media very well. And I think someone for fantasy football needs to cover it. So let's breeze over the Seahawks and Steelers here, because I believe there is some sneaky plays here that not a lot of people are discussing. Obviously, Najee is going to get his work, but I wanted to bring up this game because Juju Smith-Schuster is out for the season, meaning there is more passing work to be even open. So you got to look what direction this is going to be going. And I can tell you which direction it's going to be going. It's going to be going to Najee Harris because he is a fantastic passing down running back. And his numbers are going to be absolutely phenomenal going forward. Honestly, Claypool, Deontay's outlooks are much better with it too. The only thing is Big Ben is looking like a quarterback ready for the retirement home. So we don't know if he's going to play for full season. So while I think Deontay is solid going forward, Claypool is really boom bust.
Yeah.
But I love Najee Harris going forward, and I like him in this game.
Yeah, Najee and Deontay are the only two that you can start with any type of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Claypool, like you said, boom bust. If you're looking for that big blowout game, he might be able to do it, but he could also get you 3 catches for 30 yards and get you 6 points.
That's right. But in Mageddon next week, where it seems like half the league's wide receivers are going to be out, you may have to start Chase Claypool. All right. So what were you saying?
I thought maybe they were on a bye next week, but no, I'm not sure.
I don't think they are. I think the AFC North is pretty exclusive on it because I was a little bit scared that both my Ravens players were out too. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have no team. But I was able to scrape by, and I'm going to have enough players to at least field the team. That's going to be a hard week for everyone, I think. Yeah. All right. So let's look at the other half of this game too. The outlook is bleak at quarterback. Yes, Gino, I understand coming off the bench looked okay. I'm a resident Jets fan, okay? And I've seen what Gino has done in the past. Ron is a Giants fan. He has seen what Gino has done in the past. Give them some game filled on Gino, even with a week to game plan, even with decent wide receivers. No matter what you say with Russell Wilson out, it is a downgrade for this wide receiving core. You're moving DK Metcalf down to a wide receiver 2. Lockett is much more of a boom bust candidate now, probably with more busts with Gino in there. Yeah. How do you feel about this quarterback to wide receiver connection?
I think you summed it up pretty well. DK Metcalf is still a solid wide receiver 2, and Tyler Lockett is completely dependent on a big play, I think.
Yeah, and outside of that, too, I am not looking at Everett. I don't think Everett is going to be good in this offense with Gino there. And he's also coming off an injury, too. So that's really something else to consider here. Someone who might be a beneficiary of the work, can work positively and negatively, I've seen it happen both ways, is Chris Carson. Chris Carson is coming off a neck injury, but is expected to start this week. I think he's got a decent outlook for this game for Steelers defense, which has been susceptible to the running game, the passing part of it, not the rushing part of it.
I was going to say they're one of the top running.
I said the passing part of it, not the running part of it. And luckily Carson does catch it out of the backfield. So you may be able to play him. And should he start, Alex Collins is immediately out of the starting lineup. He's nothing more than a handcuff at that point because even starting, he didn't do shit last week.
I will say this about Chris Carson. Like we said, the Steelers do boast one of the better run defenses in the league. Yes, they can give up against the pass, but Teddy Bridgewater.
That's the next game.
Geno Smith will take off and run the ball, and we all know that if you can take off and run the ball, the running backs generally don't get targeted. So True. That could be difficult.
Here's the thing, though. You just described that. The narrative with that was Russell Wilson could run the ball, and he still got targeted. So I don't believe that's the case with this game.
But let's rephrase. Russell Wilson can run the ball, but generally Russell Wilson will run around and try to find people. Geno Smith will run the ball.
I believe Geno actually will sit back there and scramble, dude. Just throw interceptions instead of bombs for touchdowns. That's the only difference. I think it's a very similar quarterback's playing style, just one significantly better than the other.
It could go either way, I think.
I think Carson's still a running back too. That injury is a little bit concerning. Neck injuries are scary. It's not the first injury he's dealt with in his past. He typically does well playing banged up, though. He's all right usually when he plays banged up. So I would play him confidently if he does come off the injury report and actually start in this game. So start Carson if he plays. Any other thoughts before we move on from this game, Ron?
Nope. I think we covered it.
All right, so I'm going to move into my wild card game, and then you can give your narrative that works for you, okay? So I'm discussing the Broncos and Raiders tonight. In this game, I believe the narrative is going to play out that Hunter Renfrow is actually going to get a decent amount of work. He has been consistent, and I believe he could get that work in this game too. Obviously, Darren Waller is a top 5 start every week, and he's going to be in this game. I think Noah Fant is honestly a borderline starter this week, could potentially find the end zone in a tough game. I say do not play Henry Ruggs because he has been cold as hell, and I think Renfrow is going to get the work. Josh Jacobs could end up having a little bit more work in this game too, and he's a running back too. As for the Denver side of this game, I do not believe Javonte Williams is going to get a lot of work this week, and I would look to move away from him if I could. The split between him and Melvin Gordon is him getting about 45% of the work, Melvin Gordon getting about 55% of the work. The Raiders are surprisingly good against the run, so if any of them is going to get the touchdowns, I believe it's going to be Melvin Gordon this week, but I only see him as an emergency start this week. I really don't want to play either one of them. And with Bridgewater being back, Tim Patrick is a good start because he has been consistent, he's solid, and he is good with Bridgewater there. And Cordell Patterson is an absolute slam dunk start with Bridgewater starting. Over 20 points in fantasy last week, and he is on a roll when Teddy Bridgewater is in there. Cordell Patterson, start him, look forward, don't have to say anything more until Jerry Jeudy's back.
Nope, don't have to say anything about Cordell Patterson. Nothing except that he doesn't play for the Denver Broncos.
Cortland Sutton.
There you go.
Cordell Patterson.
You said it like 3 times. I'm like, yeah. Oh, he's getting got now.
Son of a bitch. Cortland Sutton.
Yes, Cortland Sutton has been really good with Teddy Bridgewater all year.
There's a C in the name. It's just the wrong player.
The only down weeks him and Tim Patrick had is when Drew Lock was starting. So
you knew where I was going with that.
Oh, I knew exactly where you're going. It was great.
Yeah, great soundbite there.
Yeah, with the Broncos running backs, they're really hard to start any given week because they both are. It's almost a complete 50-50 split, and they're not both able to get 15 touches a game, really.
That's what they're both getting.
Well, it's not. They're not good touches.
Not necessarily.
Neither one of them, I feel like, is able to get in any type of like consistent groove. I don't know. I don't like the situation. I wish one of them would just have the job because it'd be really good for fantasy football if one of those guys had that job.
Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to see that for the entire season. It's going to be a split backfield
outside of injury.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, I like. Hunter Renfrow, PPR machine.
Yep.
Very consistent in PPR formats.
You starting Henry Ruggs?
Oh, my God. Yeah, in one league because I freaking have to. I mean, all I can hope for is an 80-yard bomb touchdown. Like,
which you're probably not going to get.
Probably not. I don't know.
Oh,
could be a good game to watch, though. See how the Raiders play. And
do you think that offense looks any different now that their head coach got fired?
Not this week. Definitely not this week. I think moving forward, it could slightly start to change. I don't think it'll end up changing all that much. But throughout the season, you might see it change gradually. This week, it was short week. You know, the interim head coach just got put in place.
I don't even know who the interim head coach is yet.
I can't think of his name. They announced it. It was the assistant coach, whoever he is.
Which side of the ball is he on?
I don't know. But you might see him try to implement some new stuff like going down. What I'm interested in seeing is how he handles the running backs, because you can have the same scheme, but use your running backs differently. People have been wanting Josh Jacobs to be in on third downs since he came out of college. He was a very prolific receiver out of the backfield in college and just has never had that opportunity because John Gruden has always had someone else do that role.
Rich Bisacca.
Okay, yeah, we'll see if Mr. Basuki can make him, because if Josh Jacobs was a 3-down back, he'd be top 5 in the league in fantasy football.
Says here he is more of a veterans player coach, which he's got a lot of veterans on that team. And beyond that, he was a special teams coach, so we don't know what the frig he's going to do.
Excellent.
Great. So probably going to be the same then going forward, honestly. I don't think he'll change much with the offense and defense because it's honestly been working for them.
Yeah.
Special teams coach not going to mess with it if it ain't broken. So probably the same outlook for all these players if that's the case. Do you have any other thoughts on this game before you move into your narrative?
Nope.
All right, let's do it. Which game are you talking about?
All right, I'm going to talk about the Vikings and Panthers.
Ooh, Sam Darnold.
I want to see Sam Darnold continue being the number 1 rushing touchdown leader in the league. I'm ready for it.
Cam Darnold.
Cam Darnold. The more Sam Darnold makes the Jets look like idiots for trading him away, the better my life is. And the worse your life is, which is always good for me too.
New Jersey, New York teams just are brutal this year.
They're amazing. This year.
Most years.
Yeah. But for fantasy, I mean, you're gonna start Justin Jefferson. You're gonna start Dalvin Cook if he's playing, which I believe he is. DJ Moore has been playing out of his mind.
Oh, he's a top 6 or 7 wide receiver right now.
And
he's absolutely incredible.
Chuba Hubbard is probably another start again because it looks like McCaffrey will be out.
And he'll be a running back 1 if he's out. We do have another question here, Ron. So would you like to read it for anyone that listens to our podcast instead of watching it here on YouTube?
Thoughts on Jerry Jeudy this year? Should I just keep him on my IR? Yeah, he should be coming off IR here in a week or 2, I believe.
He looked impressive in week 1.
Yeah.
He looked like a wide receiver number 1. And if he's coming off, and especially coming off the bye week, he's probably going to be healthy, and I think they're going to work him back into the plane. I think he immediately goes back to being Denver's number 1 wide receiver, which could be bad for Cortland Sutton.
Yeah. I think it'll hurt Tim Patrick more, but yeah, it could ruin
I don't know what. Yeah, honestly, I don't know if that offense can sustain 2 number 1 wide receivers, even when Teddy. Actually, it might be able to. Teddy Bridgewater was able to do that with the Panthers with DJ Moore, who's having a good year, and Robbie Anderson the year before.
And Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton have been having good games as long as Teddy Bridgewater's on the field. Mm-hmm. Both their down games came when Drew Lock was on the field. So,
yeah, so definitely keep him on your IR. He's going to be an important piece for you going forward. And remember, 17-game season, so you have an extra week for fantasy football, and he can help you later on. So, Ron, let's get back to the thoughts on your game.
I think this could be a really good game. Both defenses are okay, but not dominating. Mm-hmm. So it should give everybody a chance to perform. A little sneaky tight end, maybe Tommy Tremble got a touchdown last week.
I'm trembling in my boots for him.
Yeah. So we could see what he could do. Oh, I just saw something.
Do you believe Thielen is actually going to play this week?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you think Thielen's actually going to play this week? And if he doesn't, is that a good outlook for KJ Osborne?
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything much about Thielen. I don't like KJ Osborne either. I think it'll just be more Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook and all that.
Osborne's just weird because he had a very good week 1. So took the league by surprise. Week 2, 12 points, I believe, in fantasy. Hasn't done shit since then. The Vikings offense, I don't believe gets a lot of plays off currently, which is bad for Osborne's outlook. If Thielen went out, maybe an emergency start. I don't like him this week. I actually ended up cutting him from my roster. As for the running backs in this game on the Vikings side, should Dalvin Cook play? Madison is not starting. Dalvin Cook is going to get 20 carries in this game. And I honestly believe that. Should Dalvin Cook be rested this week? Madison, automatic start. Perfect. 20 points. It's a slam dunk either way. So I hope you have Dalvin and his handcuff, Madison. Because if not, someone else may benefit if Dalvin is out again.
Yeah, definitely.
Any other thoughts on your game, Ron? Are we going to move into DFS?
We'll move into DFS.
All right, heckling fandom sitting around the campfire. You ready to hear the DFS lineup of the week? The one that's going to help you win $500,000 or $1 million? At least I hope so. Just don't use it in the $1 million lineup.
Oh, I'm going first?
No, I'll go first. Because I'm the winning lineup.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
All right, so remember, this is an early lineup. This is just to get you ready, but you can adjust depending on injuries going into the week. Where last week, Madison wasn't thought to start until about Sunday morning, and then I threw him into my lineup and scored over 200 points in DFS, and it was a fantastic week for me. So my lineup for this week, $50,000 salary for Draft Kings, is quarterback Justin Herbert because, damn, look at that scoring last week. $7,300. I think he could potentially do it again against the Baltimore Ravens in a game. I believe the narrative is going to be a high scoring, just like both teams did last week. So I'm going to follow the path, and that's a narrative we're going to get. So with that, why the hell not go with another Charger? Austin Eckler is $7,900. You see the theme here and what's going to continue with the rest of this roster? Austin Eckler has had well above 30 points in DFS and regular fantasy formats both weeks. Look for that to continue. He has just been an absolute monster. Next, I want to say like a genius. I actually put him in my lineup before he got COVID-19, but he is a very cheap option for you for DFS, and he's going to be heavily rostered now that Williams ended up getting COVID-19. It's Khalil Herbert, $4,600. He ended up getting over 50% of the carries last week. He looked good doing it for the Bears. The Bears are going to look to control that field and the time of possession, keeping Aaron Rodgers off the field. Will they be successful in it? Who knows? But with that much of a budget and how well he's going to play, I think he is a decent option for you. So I need to go cheaper here. Khalil Herbert at $4,600. Next, holy shit, look at that, another Charger. Mike Williams, but I'm going to have to evaluate the injury. Remember that, at $8,100. Mike Williams has been on an absolute tear this year. He was an insane value for any fantasy format, whether it was auction or draft, where you got him later or got him cheap. Mike Williams is on an absolute tear this year. So Mike Williams at $8,100. Next, I'm going with the opposite end of this game because that's what I'm targeting. I'm going with Marquise Hollywood Brown at $5,900. I think a very fair option here and well-priced option. He has also been on a tear this season, been very consistent, and I think it's going to be high scoring, and he's got a very high outlook for this game. So Marquise Hollywood Brown at $5,900. Now I'm going with one that's going to make Ron smile. I'm going with Kadarius Toney for the third week in a row because he has been absolutely on a tear as well. Kadarius Toney at $5,600, so still a decent value for the guy who's probably going to be the number one wide receiver on that roster. Yes, I understand he's going up against the Rams defense, but they're going to have to pass that damn ball because they're going to fall behind very early in that game. So look for Kadarius Toney to potentially have a good game this week. Next, another Giant because, like I said, they're going to have to pass the damn ball. I understand he didn't play very well into the narrative, but I need a little bit of a value here. So I'm going to hope that Evan Ingram has one of those weird games where he plays well. So I am playing Evan Ingram at $3,400 because he's a decent value. And we'll see what he does. Next, I'm going with Darrell Williams. That is the Chiefs' starting running back. He is also a good value at $4,900 in an offense that scores a shitload. He gets passing work. He's going to rush the ball. He's going to be the number one running back there. So look for him to have a decent week too. And now that I'm all out of money, I'm going with the Texans defense at $2,200 going up against the Colts because I don't think the Colts offense is that good. Is the Texans defense that good? Absolutely not. But they don't need to be for me to win money with this lineup. So Texans defense, no money. What are your thoughts, Ron?
Not bad. We've got some similarities. I also took Darrell Williams in my flex spot down there.
Before we get into your lineup, we have another question here too from Elvar G. So what do we got for you? Elvar G. It says, I have Tony. Should I look to trade him for Allen Robinson? Also need some running back depth. Who are realistic targets if I bundle Marquise Brown and D Swift? So to answer your first question, I guarantee Ron's going to say this. No, you do not trade Tony away for Allen Robinson. He has been not having a good year. I believe that Tony is on the ascent. He just has to stop punching people and not get suspended, and I think he's going to be good. Also, what were you saying?
What if it's James Robinson?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Is it James Robinson here? Because it might be the wrong answer. Because if it's James Robinson, you absolutely trade him for that. But my guess is it's Allen Robinson. Also, you need some running back depth. Oh, I see what you're saying. In this question, it says I need some running back depth. If it's James Robinson, you do that in a heartbeat because he has been an Allen Robinson. So no, do not do that.
Do that for Allen Robinson. No.
Also, where's some realistic targets if I bundle Marquise, Hollywood Brown, and D Swift? You're talking. It could be an Alvin Kamara because Marquise Brown's been on a tear and D Swift has been good the last few weeks.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara.
You could get.
Yeah,
it's anyone.
I would not go for anybody lower than like the top 3 players at positions.
Honestly, the only 2 maybe are Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. The only 2 you might not be able to get for that. At least someone's going to consider that if you budget those 2. So look very high end with that trade.
If the person who has Henry is light on wide receivers and you offer that, honestly, I understand you need running back depth, but I don't know. That's a hard trade.
Now, if you're looking if you're looking for running back depth and not looking for a high-end running back as opposed to that, which with D Swift, and maybe if you're looking for trading Brown and Swift for 2 running backs, middle of the ground running backs could you potentially target? You got any in mind, Ron?
I really don't. Marquise Brown and DeAndre Swift are both been playing at top 10 levels at their positions. I don't know. They'd be hard to trade away. I wouldn't.
Yeah, if you're looking for middle of the pack running backs, you may want to just wait for an injury out the waiver wire. Maybe pick a few guys up right before Sunday, see if someone gets hurt, and try to stream it. If you're going for a high end running back, awesome. But if you're looking to maybe build depth on the running back, I might suggest suck it up and just hope for the best.
If you're looking for depth at running back, try trading just Marquise Brown for someone like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a lower. Marquise Brown for maybe
Carson?
No, the Bengals running, but Joe Mixon.
Yeah, you can potentially do that.
He's been banged up. The guy might be, worried. And he might, especially if he needs wide receiver depth, Marquise Brown has been playing out of his mind.
Yeah, no, that's a very decent option. So there's some suggestions for you. Also, look at that waiver wire because another host in our league, Brian, did today, got Khalil Herbert. Now he's got a starting running back. So always watch that damn waiver wire. All right, so we also have another comment here. Garrett Yonker says, sup, fellas? Standard flex T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, or Chase Claypool? Devontae Smith. And I can tell you that, and I would play him tonight because they are going to get scored on a shitload by the Bucs. They're going to have to throw the ball. I think Devontae Smith's in for a good night, so start Devontae Smith. Ron?
I would say T. Higgins.
Explain, because I'm actually not very high on T. Higgins this week.
I like the offense better.
You might like the offense better, but he also got hurt last week. Devontae Smith is healthy.
He came back from injury last week.
It's still not completely healthy.
I don't care. I like the offense better.
Yeah, well, I like Devontae Smith better. So I say Devontae Smith. Ron says T. Higgins. Chase Claypool is your boomer bust, but I think he's going to bust.
Thank you for the questions, Elver G and Garrett Yonker. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Join the heckling fandom.
Join our heckling fandom.
Like, subscribe.
I will get into my DFS lineup here. I went pretty heavy after the Houston Texans Indianapolis Colts matchup. I agree with you, Joe, that I don't think Indy's defense is as good as it seemed through the first half of that game. Mm-hmm. I think it's more of like what we saw through the second half of that game. But I do believe their offense can put up points against this Houston Texans defense.
All right.
And I also believe the Houston Texans are going to be able to put up some points against the Indianapolis Colts.
Are you saying General Mills is actually going to play well this week?
He'll play well enough to keep the game competitive enough for things to need to happen. I'm going to roll with Carson Wentz. He had a really good game past week against the Ravens.
That's so disgusting. That's throw your dart and close your eyes for that start.
Yeah, but it could be, I'm going for, maybe not a lot of people start him, so that gives me a 1-up. Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to pair him with Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman.
Okay.
So I've got that offense. If they play well against Houston, which I believe they will, I should get some decent points out of all of them.
This is honestly a very alternate DFS lineup.
Yep. For my second running back, I got Darrell Henderson.
That's a very good pick.
From the Rams going against the New York Giants. They are not very good at stopping the run.
That's just going to hurt your heart.
Yep, it does. I got Devontae Adams. I spent up for him.
Mm-hmm.
I know JJ's like, oh, the Bears always blah, 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 but it's Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams could have 200 catches by the end of the season.
He's still going to put up the points that I need. I also took Kadarius Toney. Again, not a great matchup against the Rams, but he's very good at just getting open. So he might again be one of the only guys there.
Mm-hmm.
So should be good. My tight end, I went cheaper, and I went Tyler Conklin for Minnesota. I do believe that if Thielen is limited or missing time, Conklin's going to be the one that picks up the work.
Ballsy pick because that Panthers defense is pretty good, but I like where your mind's going with it.
He's also cheaper, so that made it easier. Darrell Williams in my flex.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my defense, I went
Rams.
No, I didn't. I actually went the Bengals against Detroit.
Okay.
Because I thought that was a really good one. A matter of fact, I thought that was my defensive dominator.
Ooh. Excellent transition from DFS to the defensive dominator of the week. So do you want to explain why the Bengals are going to absolutely dominate the Lions, in your opinion?
The Lions have not looked good. There's been a very few things that they've been doing well. Hawkinson has been playing well. They're losing wide receivers left and right. Their running backs are really the real bright spots on their team. And Cincinnati's defense has been looking really good. I mean, they should have had that game against Green Bay. They just shat the bed towards the end of it. So if they can do that to Green Bay, I foresee them making the Lions look real silly.
The only way this gets ruined is by two Lions players. You're talking DeAndre Swift, who has looked excellent this season. He is insanely talented. He's the only one on that offense that can really set the narrative and ruin this for the Bengals. Also, a rookie, which you're asking a lot of, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has gotten 8 targets the last 2 weeks. He is, by default, because of injuries, the number 1 wide receiver in this offense. Honestly, I'm torn because I believe DeAndre Swift is actually going to have a very good week. I think he matches up very well with the Bengals, and I could see the Bengals off a very hard game actually laying an egg this week. I'm actually very torn, and I was going into this picking the upset here. I was actually going to consider Detroit in this game. So this is the first defensive dominator I think I actually disagree with you on. I don't like the narrative here.
Yeah. Oh, well. You can be wrong. It's fine.
You're right, but you could tell me I'm potentially wrong on this. So my defensive dominator pick of the week is the Miami Dolphins against the Jags. Trevor Lawrence has had 8 interceptions going into this. Now he's got to go across the pond, and Xavier Howard is in that secondary. It could be a tough week. London games are weird. Could mess him up because of the time difference. He's a rookie. I understand the Miami Dolphins defense hasn't been the best, but those talented players are still there. So if they're going to get it right, this will be the week that they get it right, and you could probably get them off waivers playing a rookie who has thrown a lot of interceptions. So my defensive dominator pick of the week is the Miami Dolphins.
I don't hate the pick. I almost picked them myself, but then I saw they were playing in London, and I know London games are fucking crazy.
Yes.
Like, weird shit happens all the time in a London game. So I'm like, I'm just staying away from it because, like, Trevor Lawrence could look like the best quarterback of all time in London.
Or he could look like what Zach Wilson did in the first half last week and do absolutely nothing.
You never know what's going to happen in London.
I think
they get over there, they start drinking the tea and eating the crumpets, and They get all confused.
Could be bad and could be good for Miami Dolphins defense if you need a streaming defense this week.
Could be.
So, Ron, where can you find this show?
Oh, like I said at the beginning of the show, you can find us at www. You can find us at www.garbagetimeff.com. Whew, that one was hard to say. Right here on YouTube at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. Oh, God, I missed one.
Amazon.
God.
You'll get them all someday. Also, guys, in the link below, too, is our website. Like Ron said, you can leave voicemails there. Like this video if you're watching it. Subscribe to it so you know we're going on. Grow the heckling fandom. We love your comments and your hate mail. We love the challenges. Go to our website, leave the voicemails. If you scream at us, we're going to play it live on the show. You're going to get to see our reaction to it. It'll be effing fantastic. So do it. Go leave us voicemails, too. We also have a sister podcast, a manly sister podcast. Garbage Time presents the MMA podcast, which Ryan and Casey end up doing. Also in the links below on YouTube. Also on Instagram, too. Listen, they are money with picks. And if you're looking to make money on DraftKings, they are your guys. They easily go double digits with picks every week. It's phenomenal how well they've done the last few weeks. Yeah. They've won me some money in DFS, so check out their show, too. Shortly, they'll also be doing it here on YouTube, too. So just check them out.
All right. And with that, we will get out of here. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Have a great day.
Boom.